Alright guys, I just got done recording my Witcher 3 video. I just showered, I'm dressed, I feel good, I feel refreshed, I gotta go to work, so I'm gonna try to do this quick. And once again, I'm not trying to be a video game critic, I'm not trying to be like an official reviewer, this is just my thoughts and opinions and experiences playing each game. So now, we're gonna talk about Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Okay, so I didn't really take a whole lot of notes while playing this game, because I was too busy dying 30 times to the stupid monkey boss and 50 times to the stupid hate fire demon. So unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to take notes. I was too busy trying to get good and not rage gamer quit. This game was 2019's Game of the Year, another Game of the Year game that I missed. Maybe that should be its own topic in video. Anyway, Holidays 2022 had a lot of awesome games on sale, including Sekiro for $30. Then we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I picked this up on Black Friday for the same exact price, which is $30. I never played this game because I was scared. Even after purchasing it, I was still scared. I had to build up the courage to play it. I purchased it and I didn't play it for a few months. The one thing I heard about this game is extremely difficult. Same guys who made the Souls games. It has the hardest boss fight in all of video games, so I was scared, okay? But I wanted to prove I am a real gamer, I have skills, I can get good. I also got done playing Elden Ring and Demon's Souls on the PS5 for the very first time. So I'm like, you know what? I want to play other FromSoftware games. Anyways, this game is freaking awesome. It's frustrating as hell. Sometimes the game is absolute bullshit with its difficulty, and this game is just straight up unfair sometimes. But it's still awesome. It's been a while since I've felt this kind of gamer rage quit. And no, I don't throw my controller, I don't punch a hole in the wall, I don't break my TV. That kind of gamer rage is stupid. Gamer rage by I die for the 100th time, I jump off my couch, I curse the developers for making this game so difficult, I breathe really heavily, I look out the window all dramatic, I control my breathing, I take a break, maybe get a drink of water, and then I come back. I thought this was gonna be a straight by-the-books Souls game in a samurai setting, and a more emphasis on parry, but I was really wrong. This game has some of the Souls DNA in it, but it's pretty different, but has some similarities, and this is not a by-the-book samurai game. This has a lot of magical stuff, a lot of fantasy too. I just got done playing Elden Ring and Demon's Souls, so there were some mechanics I was familiar with, but there was a lot of mechanics in Sekiro that was different. There's still the healing flasks that refill after death. You spawn at the last checkpoint, and instead of losing souls, you lose XP and gold, which is basically a replacement for souls in this game. You still have optional resources, buffs, and consumables, and you have a weapon wheel. Enemies dying instantly give you XP and gold. This game has brutal, unforgiving boss fights, a confusing narrative, and there's probably more similarities with Souls games and Elden Ring, but those are the ones that I noticed. There's a lot of major differences. There's no invincibility, invulnerable roll anymore. There's a dodge mechanic, but it doesn't always work. You can dodge side to side, front, backwards, but it's not like there's a invincibility window in between that where you can't get hit. There's more of an emphasis on block and parry in this game instead. Thank God there's no stamina. I cannot imagine trying to play this game, sprinting around, jumping and hitting all the time, and having to worry about stamina. In place of stamina, there's a stance bar that you have to worry about when you're blocking and taking hits. Gameplay is a lot more fast-paced, more emphasis on platforming, and there's a freaking rope that makes you feel like Spider-Man. It was refreshing being able to explore every square inch of the little areas in a FromSoftware game. You can go up or down, you can go side to side, you can go everywhere and explore. Your main weapon and outfit and armor does not change throughout the game. It was a bit of a relief not having to master and rotate weapons and armor sets. The original katana combat is difficult enough to master. But in place of rotating weapons, the prosthetic arm has a variety of different abilities. I love finding what arm abilities affect certain enemies and bosses. The most used ability I had was definitely the fireworks and just the fire. I didn't even use the whistle or the fan at all, and I think there's like one or two abilities I didn't even find. I was horrible and I sucked at parry in Elden Ring, but I got pretty decent at parrying in Sekiro. I was surprised this game gives you some lenience, and there's like a grace period with the parry. I'm surprised how well I was able to catch on and like get good at it. Thank God there's a punching dummy, and there's a practice setting. There's a guy you can practice all your abilities on, and all the dodging and parrying and everything. Thank God that is there, or else this game would have been 100 times more difficult. The finishing executions after breaking an enemy stance is freaking badass. It makes me feel like a samurai god. The finishers never get old. Finishers and executions are one of my favorite parts of video games. It's also so satisfying, grinding, chipping away at a boss, dying over and over again, getting better, and finally getting that final execution move. It always felt like I earned that. I did that. That's right, I did that. Besides being absolutely badass and brutal, it's also relieving and satisfying watching the finishing execution, like, oh, finally, I beat it. I don't know if it's intentional, but when you're going through an area beating the mini bosses, I feel like those help you to prepare for the final boss in the area. Like each one is vulnerable to different things or teaches you something, and then you use all of that information to beat the final boss in the area. Maybe I'm making that up, but I'm pretty sure the game does that. In areas, you can listen to NPCs that give hints and dialogue what enemies are vulnerable. Like my very first enemy I got stuck in the game was the stupid troll. But then I saw this little thing, I can listen to enemies and they say the troll is scared of fire, I'm pretty sure, or was it fireworks? So I had to go find the fire prosthetic and come back, and then the boss fight was 100 times easier. The boss variety in this game is awesome and really impressed me. It's not just samurais, there's a lot more magical and whimsy with the boss fights. There's a big ass freaking fish that chases you. There's a freaking dragon, a decapitated monkey that throws poop at you. Samurai swordmaster that hits you in one hit and then you're dead. And the samurai bosses are really diverse too. There's like normal samurais, there's huge big samurai. And the combat is varied too. The dragon requires lightning deflection. The Master Ice Samurai requires split-second step dodge to the side. The lady throws spirits at you and you have to find a way to cast the spirits away. The folding screen monkeys require perfect platforming and reflexes. Some bosses require a collection of different skills all at once, and then the monkey throws poop at you. You have to dodge the poop with that. The boss fights are really the driving force behind my motivation to keep playing this game. Walk into a boss fight, get my ass kicked right away, head back in, learn the moves and mechanics and weaknesses, getting a little better each time, a little bit better each time, and then finally mastering the boss fight is so relieving and satisfying. Walking into a boss fight where you're a scrub and you suck, and then walking into a boss fight where you're the boss and you beat their ass. It's awesome. Going from this fight is bullshit and impossible, slaughtering the boss and being the master and you're the boss now, and yelling at my TV, suck my balls you stupid monkey. My favorite boss and biggest surprise was the creepy ass mummy Wolverine monster. He just seems so out of place and creepy. I'm like, oh, this game is unique and weird. His attacks were out of control and overwhelming and I was stunned. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? He just goes da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But then I just realized you just have to spam the parry button and then you're all good. Towards the second half of the game, I was a little disappointed to find duplicate boss fights. The duplications have different movesets and they're not a complete copy and paste. I can recall upon the practice I had with the previous boss fight, and like, okay, so I beat the bull before, now the bull is back. I know how to beat him, but he's a little different to keep it refreshing, but I still know what I'm doing. I loved finding out the English voice actor for the main character is Charles from Red Dead Redemption 2. I love finding the Charles voice actor in other games. I found him in Miles Morales and also Ghost of Tsushima. One mechanic I could not get the rhythm of was a group of enemies and multiple enemies at once attacking you. I'm not really sure how to handle it besides just spamming parry and hope to get lucky, and I just freak out. Every now and then I just use the firecracker and stun them and go one at a time, or just run around and chip at them. I never really could get the rhythm of group fights, I don't know. I love the game encourages a variety of different combat styles with stealth and picking off enemies one by one, and sometimes you have to take it slow and watch your enemies attack first and then react, and then sometimes it's just balls to the walls action, baby. This game is just straight up mean sometimes. I tried sneaking up on a heavy enemy to stealth kill him, but there was another heavy enemy hiding around the corner who ambushed me. Then I was trying to stealth in an area with the rifle enemies, but then there was gunpowder traps on the ground and they totally gave away my position when I thought I was doing perfect stealth. Then the poop throwing monkey, when he dies, he comes back to life, stronger and more fast, and then he comes back again later in the game, but his girlfriend comes to help him. This game is just mean. And then when I'm trying to be all like Metal Gear Solid Snake and sneaking around the big ass sleeping snake, there's enemies pop out of the wall and jump scare you and give away your position. I'm like, ugh! I learned over time I was overthinking the parry timing. Most of the parry was all about rhythm, and the game gives you some leeway and grace periods. I kept having these moments of, I suck at this game, I'm not a real gamer, I should give up, I'm a noob, what's the point of video games, what am I doing with my life, I should play something else. But I take a moment to breathe, relax, clear my mind. I grab the controller, I don't give up, I keep at it, and I eventually beat the boss. I had these moments with the Ashin Elite, Snake Eyes, Armor Warrior, and many more. The poop throwing monkey, of course, the ogre, the guy on a horse with a spear, and the demon of hate. I learn a little bit more. Each death, I get a little bit better until I am a shinobi god and I slaughter them like the prey they are. The end of my Sekiro journey ended in disappointment. Disappointment in myself. I could not beat the final boss fight. Every boss, I could see a glimpse of hope and light, and I can see how I can beat them, and I see their counter. I'm like, okay, that's how I do it. I just gotta learn and get good. It just takes dying over and over again and more practice to get it down. But the final boss, I just do not understand. I don't get. I don't know how it's possible, really. I tried everything in my skill set. I don't know. I looked up YouTube tutorials. I looked up YouTube cheese tactics. It just doesn't work for me. I can't find a rhythm. I can't find a pattern. I feel like the hatred demon was impossible in the final boss of the game. So once I beat it, I thought I could beat anything. Nope, the final boss beat all hope out of me and I was just done. I'm done. Remember I said this game is mean? Well, this final boss having 4 phases is so freaking mean, man. I could beat the first phase easily where it's not the real boss, it's kind of like a fake out. The first phase, easy peasy. I can beat that without taking any damage. But it's the final 3 phases I am stuck on. I couldn't even get to the 4th phase. The 2nd phase I was able to get through, then the 3rd phase would always kick my ass. I couldn't even get to the 4th phase. I think now I'm at my limit. I admit defeat. I told myself, you know what, I just need to move on and play something else. I have so many games I have to catch up on, and Starfield is right around the corner. I can't be stuck at the same boss for multiple nights at a time. I have to move on. I will try to come back from time to time and retry this boss fight, but for now, this game was a crazy adventure, one hell of a ride. Fuck the final boss, love this game. 2 big shinobi thumbs up. I do feel accomplished. I was able to actually get to the final boss fight. I got through mostly the entirety of the game, just stuck at the final boss. That's more of an accomplishment for me. I hope I can beat him someday, but for now,
Hey guys, so I'm editing the video right now. It's like 6 a.m. I need to go to sleep. I just got off work, but there's some things I forgot to mention in my video. I don't know if I said already, but the visuals in this game are so freaking beautiful and impressive and amazing. And the performance is very smooth and the gameplay is very responsive. Just overall from like a mechanical standpoint, this game is freaking awesome. The music is beautiful and epic and sometimes really scary and eerie and creepy. I love that sharing sake is a gameplay mechanic in the game. Like you give NPCs sake. Because in real life, I actually really like sake. There's a brand, I think it's called Hana Sake. And they have like a lychee flavor, and I love that stuff. This stuff is so good. Overall, I just really love Sekiro as a protagonist himself. He's freaking badass. He is a man of very few words. He's about principle and he's about his duties. I love the gameplay twist in the story when your father figure ends up betraying you and you have to fight him. That was pretty badass. And there was a moment where he's like, "Oh, Sekiro, help me." And then you have the option to hit him or not hit him. And if you hit him, he's like, "Haha, I trained you well." And if you don't hit him, he's like, "You bitch." Last thing I want to mention is I hate those little tiny gremlin dudes. They're the worst. The guys with the hats, I hate those guys. They're the worst enemy in the whole game. They're worse than any boss fight. Those little tiny dudes, hate them. They're called rats, right? Stupid rats. All right, good night.